Hello and welcome all. So I decided to make this quick video, just simply reacting to quite an old video actually from an anime YouTuber. Some of you may have heard of him. He goes by King of Lightning. Back in the day, I actually used to watch a lot of King of Lightning's videos alongside a bunch of other anime YouTubers. Of course, this was back when I had more of an active interest in anime and manga type content. Nowadays, of course, that's lessened, and also because I don't have much time to watch videos. But I figured, since this video from King of Lightning actually was a bit of an inspiration to my current project that I'm working on, making a rewrite of the fairy tale series. This is just a quick heads up to this video I'll be reacting to. If you happen to be a huge fan of Hiro Mashima, or you really like the main character Natsu Dragneel and think that he's the best main character ever, and that Fairy Tail is the absolute picture perfect shonen series, I highly strongly recommend clicking off this video now. Just a quick heads up. This video is not for you if you fall into any of those categories. Alright, anywho, let's get started on to reacting to this video. Hopefully I don't get copyright claimed on this. So yeah, I'll just do my best and give my thoughts on King of Lightning's video, The Rise and Fall of Natsu Dragneel.
Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is going to do the rise and fall of Natsu Dragneel. That's right, finally. Finally, the rise and fall of Natsu Dragneel is here. It is here for you to enjoy, for you to debate, for you to just say your opinions, for the haters to be like, yeah, for the lovers to be like, no, and so on and so forth, okay? There's going to be 5 key points, 5 key things I want to mention with Natsu, why he is a rise and fall, all right? Now, let me just hop right in with point number 1. Point number 1. Natsu at the beginning of the series Fairy Tail, okay? He is a relatively strong character. Why? Because he is one of the most famed members of a famed guild. He is the salamander, okay? He is a relatively strong individual with, I believe, the one of the top 2 guilds at the time of Fiora. It was Fairy Tail and I believe Phantom Lord. And then Fairy Tail beat the Phantom Lord during the Phantom Lord invasion, and then Fairy Tail become like the number 1 guild in Fiora. I believe so, okay? Number 1, Fiora, because Magnolia is the city where Fairy Tail lies. Now, throughout the course of the series, Natsu has fought individuals that are much, much stronger than he is, all right? He's fought against Zero, who was better than he was. He fought against Master Hades, who was better than he was. And all these, most of the opponents that he fights that are way better than he is, he beats them through power-ups, which is the first problem of Natsu Dragneel. The power-ups. The power-ups are a huge problem. Why? And let me explain something. I do understand that there are people who prefer the power-up method as opposed to the training method. Why? Because to them, training, oh my god, it's too long, it's pointless, it's boring. Okay, fine, whatever. That's your opinion. And this is my opinion, okay? And in my opinion, the power-up method is very bad. Why? Because this hinders his character development. As a character, and this is the main point of my entire video. This is the main point of my entire video. And I'll tell it to you right now. Natsu as a character is completely stunted. He is completely stunted. And this is one of the reasons why. One of the reasons why he's a stunted character is because of the power-up system. He doesn't grow through the power-ups. He does not. When an individual train, okay, when they learn from their mistakes, what happens? They develop new skills. They have this drive. They have this passion. At the same time, they realize that they can't. They realize that the method that they're following doesn't work against a particular individual. So they grow and they develop as they're training. But with Natsu, it's a power up, and he's gotten 4 power ups. Four, two which are permanent. He's gotten the Golden Fire from Jalal. He ate the Ethereon before that. Then the two permanent ones are the Thunder Dragon, the Thunder magic that he got from Luxus, and the growth of his second magical container from Ultier. Like they all got that. Well, Natsu's group got that type of magic, but basically it hinders his development as a character completely. He never learns from his mistakes. He never learns from his mistakes. He still runs in there gung ho. He still goes all out, fire, dragon, fire, 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 whatever. And now that he has the whole entire container growth and the lightning dragon, no. No. The reason why it's a no is because when we take a look at Natsu now and compared to the Natsu then, guess what? When aside from strength, it's the same Natsu. It's the same motherfucker we left in episode 1. In chapter 1, it's the same dude. The same dude. That's a problem. That's a problem. And the power-ups is not the only reason as to why.
All right, just gonna quickly pause here. So yeah, pretty much the first point, I absolutely 100% agree with King of Lightning on this. Uh, and unfortunately, it's not just Fairy Tail as a series that suffers from this problem with main characters getting power-ups. There are others, but right now I'm not gonna list any examples because I just want to stay on topic. A power-up system can be good or bad. However, if it comes at the cost of hindering a character's development, especially a main character's development, then obviously that's open to narrative inconsistencies and, of course, additional plot holes. And sadly, I do think that throughout the series, and I have read the entirety of the original Fairy Tail manga, and as I'm going back and rereading the manga chapters, yeah, Natsu, as far as I know, and from as far as I can remember, I don't think he had an actual training arc going for him in the series. And yeah, the power-ups, unfortunately, it does hinder his character development. Alright, but King of Lightning makes a 100% valid point about Natsu's character being completely stunted. Like from chapter 1 to chapter 545, besides his fighting abilities, as himself as a character, there's been almost little to no changes. Now, I've heard from somewhere that down the line, like especially why the second half of Fairy Tail suffered greatly in the writing department. I don't know if this is true or not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that Hiro Mashima lost some of his notes at the time regarding Fairy Tail, and I do understand that while he was writing the series, he did mention in an interview that he was suffering from isolation and loneliness, which is understandable, but at the same time, as a mangaka, you are expected to deliver quality work and not cut corners. Case in point with the writing, specifically with Natsu's character writing. It just felt very repetitive, and he was cutting corners, and with a lot of Natsu's fights, like I can give a good example after the time skip, like after Natsu came back from his off-screen training to get stronger, a lot of his fights have just been either one-shots or friendship booty pulls. Like I can use the an example like of the Natsu versus Zera fight in Alvarez. It was just punch of friendship, boom, even when Zeref was in his god form, and Natsu just instantly won. That's, yeah. If you guys want me to, I can do a video just discussing how poorly written Fairy Tail's Alvarez Empire arc was, but yeah, otherwise I digress.
Point number 2 is gonna be his failed. And when I say failed, I mean failed. I mean like completely like fail fail. His failed relationship with Lisana. This is so stupid because he put so much effort into building up Lisana, the character, and her bond or her relationship with Natsu during the whole entire Edelas arc. Before that, too, you know, like Lisana really meant something special to Natsu, or at least that's what he implied. But she comes back as a character, which I will not get into now, because that was no. But at the same time, she comes back and she is re-immersed into the guild. When we see this, what happens here is that nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing. Natsu treats Lisana as if she was a regular member of the guild, as if she has no real importance to him, as if like Lisana is equal to Max. Like, no, that makes no fucking sense to me. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. This could have been a good opportunity to progress uh Natsu's development as a character.
Okay, another quick pause here. So, yeah, regarding Lisana, I did hear, and this was confirmed, I think, in an interview somewhere, that the only reason Mashima even brought back Lisana was because one of his editors made a request to bring her back, which, given Lisana's role in the story after she was brought back as a character, yeah, I can see why, because it's not just her, but with a lot of other side characters I found in Fairy Tail. They either are fodderized or just barely utilized, if any at all. Case in point, basically making them waste of potential.
Notice how Erza is one of the best developed characters in the story. Why? Because one of the major reasons is because she has a relationship or a bond with Jalal. And this bond frictions, it breaks, it comes together, it does all this stuff, and then it helps these two develop as characters. Jalal is very well developed, as is Erza.
Okay, I'm just gonna quickly point out that I do like Jalal as a character. Back when I read Rave Master Seacart, who Jalal was based off of, was actually my favorite character. If you guys haven't read Rave Master, feel free to check it out. It's Mashima's previous work before Fairy Tail. It's good. Writing wise, personally, in my opinion, I think it's better written than Fairy Tail. I don't necessarily agree with how Mashima has treated Jalal's character, especially after his resurrection following the Tower of Heaven arc. It just seemed like he didn't know what to do with him down the line and just basically had him appear a lot of the times just for Jalal and Ursa moments. That's it.
Number three, Number three is simply this. Out of all the 7 main characters, and when I say 7, I'm including Windy and Charla, because Windy and Charla have kind of assimilated into that group. Gaju, not so much. Not so much.
Honestly, I just want to quickly point out that Gajiel's character, he deserved a lot better in the series. He really did. I still remember the very chapter when that Mashima wrote in the Grand Magic Games when Natsu and Gajiel were fighting against Sting and Rogue, and Natsu being, in my opinion, a cocky jackass in that scene, pushed Gajiel into the minecart. Let that sink in on how characters like Gajiel were treated during the second half of Fairy Tail.
However, when it comes to the 7 main characters, Natsu, Gray, Erza, Lucy, Windy, Happy, and Charla, Natsu is the least developed out of all of them. Out of all of them, he is the least development. Gray, he got pushed heavy at the beginning. Lucy's development is actually pretty good. When it comes to the time skip, yes, with her father dying, her mother, and the whole entire Celestial Spirits bomb, that's good development. Ezra's development is the best by far, by leaps and bounds, leaps and bounds. Um, then there's Wendy's, who actually gets a solid amount of development when it comes to the whole entire what is it called? The whole entire arc with a Zero and the Arashian 6, that stuff, yeah, pretty good development. Not the greatest, but pretty good development. At the same time, we have Charla and Happy, who get the push of their lives, especially Happy. Happy gets developed hardcore in the Edlos arc, as does Charla. Those two, oh, whoa, whoa. But Natsu, nah, nah, nah. Again, completely stunted. He's so fucking stunted. It's not even funny. I shouldn't be laughing, but it's sad because he has had multiple opportunities, especially with the training, or not the training, but especially with that fight between him and Gildarts. That was a huge opportunity in order to push Natsu's development. But Hiro did nothing with that. I mean, donut. The only reason why he learned to, accept his fear is so he could beat the Godslayer guy, which in turns mean nothing for the overall story. Now, here's the thing, okay? If Natsu, at that given point in time, when he was fighting the Godslayer, if he had said, you know what, we are going to run away. Why? Because he is way better than me. I can't beat him with my current strength. And the lives of my guild members are more important than are more important than the structure of Tenrojima Island. Had he done that, he would have spiked. He would have been like, whoa. His development would have been sky high. But no, none of that.
I do agree with everything that King of Lightning has said. Of course, he dropped Fairy Tail, the series. He did retract his statement on Urza, basically stating that later on that she's not a good character because of how Mashima was writing her. It honestly is unfortunate to see a main character who you're expected to root for just have little to no development at all. I will bring Rave Master a bit into this because Mashima has proven with Haru Glory, for example, who's a protagonist, main character in Rave Master, that he can write main characters. In fact, early on in Rave Master, Haru as a character not only developed better as a combatant, but as a person developed a hell of a lot more than Natsu did throughout the series, especially with the bonds he had with characters like Ellie and Musica.
Throughout the entire series so far, it's been 270 plus chapters, and Natsu's growth as a character, his development is completely stunted. It's really sad to see. Oh man. Oh yeah. And this is gonna be the fourth and last key point, which implies something that I always wondered. I'm like, why? Like, what the fuck? But at the same time, let me give you the fourth key point, the fourth fall of Natsu, okay? At the beginning of the series, Fairy Tail, Natsu had a goal. Oh shit, you forgot, right? Yeah, so did I. Natsu had a goal, and that goal was to find his father, Igneel, the dragon, the fire dragon, Igneel. Throughout the course of Fairy Tail, has Natsu made any significant attempts to go search for his father? The answer, no. No, he has done nothing with this. Nothing. The only time he actually does something remotely relevant to Igneel is when another Dragon Slayer comes in and he's like, "Have you seen Igneel?" And that's it. That's all he does. That's all he does, and it's stupid. It's stupid. He has a goal, his own personal goal, which is to go out there and search for his father. The father that he has, I think it was 7 years. Yeah, I think it was 7 years since the time he was left abandoned by Igneel and went to the guild. I believe so. In that time frame, and I could be wrong, whatever. In that time frame, he has made no attempt to go search for Igneel. Instead, what does he do? The fairy tale speech. Fairy tale, Marushi, and you're like, no, like, where is, like, what happened to your own personal needs? What happened to, oh my god, where's my father? That's not important? No, no, no. I guess if the guild's number one in Fiora, that's more important than go looking for your own father. I guess so. I guess so. I guess so. I mean, if you remember during the time skip, he was partying for, I believe it was like 3 weeks. Yeah. It was like a 3 week time frame where they just party. I'm like, how can you just sit down and party when Igneel could be doing like whatever? Igneel got his head carved in one piece. Shit. Where are you? Nowhere. He's donut. He has to go and search for his father. This would help his development significantly. If he was conflicted between going to missions or searching for his father, this would have been a good opportunity. Again, a good opportunity that Hiro does not utilize at all. If Natsu were to have a conflict between going to missions or searching for his father, for example, if Lucy wanted to go to a mission and Natsu's like, no, I need to go and search for my father, or I need to go and find clues or whereabouts about where my father could be. He does none of that. None of that. And the Fairy Tale Guild, the Fairy Tale Madoshi, is superior or takes more premise over his own search for his father. He is a character who has a goal but makes no attempts to achieve that goal. And that is a huge flaw. I mean, that is a huge flaw. A huge flaw. It's not even funny. That's like the biggest flaw ever. This brings up a very good question of mine, all right? A good question is, okay, Natsu is there, he's in the guild, he's a guild member, okay? Whenever they face someone, why the fuck is it that the guild rely on Natsu so much? Why is Erza, Luxus, Gray, who's supposed to be Natsu's rival, which again, Hiro does not push, which again stunts his development, Lucy, why do all these characters rely on Natsu so heavily? I never understood that. You have S-class mages that are supposed to be way stronger than Natsu, but yet no, it doesn't matter. We need Natsu. We need Natsu. 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 It's like, where the... Like, seriously? What? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Even Master Makarov relies on Natsu. Like, I don't get it. No. It's like the problem I have is that if Natsu were to leave and go and search for his father, I'm afraid that Hiro's gonna have a situation where Fairy Tail the Guild like disbanded. Or because Natsu wasn't there. Oh, Natsu wasn't there. Oh, Natsu. That's a problem. That's a problem. The guild and their reliance on Natsu hinders his goal to search for his father, which hinders his development. It's a failed system. It's a failed system. Natsu is most definitely a rise and fall character. Why? Because throughout the course of the entire series of Fairy Tail, Natsu had the potential to develop. He had the potential to be a very well developed character, and he stopped. He's completely stunted. He gets no freaking development. None. I don't and don't say in strength, like, oh my god, he got stronger. No, 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 no. Him getting stronger is like not even like 2% of development. No, 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 no. I'll give it. I'll be generous and say 5. Okay, but a character situation and where they stand within the world around them and their bond or relationship with other characters, none, none. I mean, him and Gray, nothing. Yeah, we're rivals, but Hiro forgot about that long ago. Okay, okay, Hiro. Lisana, donut. The whole entire thing with Gildarts and the fear didn't really do anything. If Natsu had said, you know what, we're gonna run away, whoa. I mean, that would have been a huge shocker. But no, he stayed there. He fought. He managed to pull out the win, which in my opinion was a solid win. But I do question him devouring other forms of magic. That to me is a huge problem. I have a huge problem with that.
Alright, I'm gonna stop here for now since this video is pretty much done. So yeah, I'm just gonna sum up what King of Lightning just said, the last few things with my thoughts. I do agree, and I do think that it is a problem, especially when the other side characters have to suffer their own development in exchange for praising a main character like Natsu, who, unlike Makarov, by the way, is number one, not a guild master, number two, sure, he's one of the strongest mages in Fairy Tail, but he's not even an S-class mage, and in my opinion, power level wise, I don't think he's anywhere near guild arts. And the third point is, unfortunately, because of these circumstances, this is why some fans who drop the series Fairy Tail and don't like Natsu typically refer to him as a character with Gary Stu traits or a Gary Stu himself. I do think that it was a missed opportunity for Mashima to explore more on Natsu's goal of finding Igneel before Igneel came straight to him in Tartarus arc. It would have been nice to have an arc where Natsu's development would have been pushed if he would just take time off Fairy Tail and go look for his father, but sadly that didn't happen. And while 100 Year Quest, the sequel series, is currently still ongoing as I'm making and uploading this video, I will admit that I have dropped 100 Year Quest years ago, so I only know bits and pieces of what's going on right now, and based on what I've seen on the internet from places like Tumblr, I'm not impressed, I and based on rumors I've heard about a Fairy Tail Next Generation sequel series supposedly coming as well. Next Generation, I don't think will happen. I don't think it should happen because honestly, in my opinion, it's going to end up with the sequel curse like of the likes of certain other manga like Boruto, for example. But anyway, that's going to be it for this reaction video. Hope you guys liked it. Kudos to any Fairy Tail fans, hardcore fans that like Hiro Mashima or like Natsu that stuck around. Thanks for watching, and hope you all have a good one.